Mathematics Class 8th, Chapter 3rd, Exercise 3.1, Understanding Quadrilaterals, Question number 6. Find the angle measure x in the following figures. We are given with the 4 figures and we need to find the value of x. That is, we need to find the measure of angle x wherever we encounter it in the following 4 figures. Let's straight away dive into the A part. Step number 1. We will first observe a figure. By observing, we mean we will count the number of sides of this figure. Let's start from here. 1, 2, 3 and 4. We are confirmed it is a quadrilateral having 4 sides. With this idea, a thought strikes in our mind that quadrilateral has sum of all its internal angles equal to 360 degrees. And we are given with 3 angles and we need to find 4th angle. Now the second step is we need to form an equation, that is we will add all these 4 angles and equate it equal to 360 degrees, because angle sum property of quadrilateral is equal to 360 degrees. So we wrote x as it is, plus we are going to add all 3 angles. You can take them in any order. So we took 120, 130 and 50. That equates to 360. Now linear equation has been formed. This is the only reason why we studied that chapter, linear equations in one variable. At that point of time its usability was not known, but in such type of day-to-day problems linear equations in one variable is used. And why we are doing it, it is better to write reasons for what we are doing in mathematics. This is the sign of because in mathematics. And we wrote quadrilateral internal angle sum equals to 360. This particular property allowed us to do this step. Now it is just a matter to solve this linear equation in one variable, and the variable is our x. So we wrote x as it is. We added all these 3 angles. This is simple. We will just plug 0 afterwards. 12 plus 13, 25. 25 plus 5 is 30. So we wrote 30 and fixed this 0 at the units place. This is equal to 360 degrees as it is. Remember, we are not writing degrees while we are solving equation. We will just plug it into the answer part. So we are here. Now x as it is. Transposing positive 300 towards right hand side, it will become minus, equal to as it is 360 as it is minus 300, because we transposed positive 300 towards right hand side, it became minus. Now x equals to 360 minus 300 equals to 60. And what is this 60? Since we are dealing with angles, this is the sign of therefore in mathematics. We wrote therefore angle x, that is measure of angle x, equals to 60 degrees. With this our A part is finished. B part. We will observe the figure. By observing, again, we mean we will count the number of sides. So we have 1, 2, 3 and 4 sides in this figure. Therefore it is a quadrilateral, and again sum of all internal angles equal to 360 degrees. And we need to find the measure of this angle x. What else are we given in this question? We are given 2 angles, but we are not given 3rd angle. So we cannot straight away form our equation. Prior to that we'll have to do something else. But here we are given that this angle is 90 degrees. This square box represents that this angle equals to 90 degrees. And since it is a straight line, we can use angle on a straight line property that we studied in previous classes. So angle on a straight line equals to 180 degrees. And if one angle is 90 degrees, this angle will be 180 minus 90 degrees. That is, we are first trying to find this angle. So we wrote here 180 degrees minus 90 degrees gives us 90 degrees. And the reason is because angle on a straight line equals to 180 degrees. Therefore, we are subtracting from 180 in order to get this angle that we have represented with arrow. With this, we have found other 3 angles of this quadrilateral. That is 70 degrees, 60 degrees and 90 degrees. Now we are in a position to form an equation, which is our step number 2. So we wrote 90 that we have found plus 60 plus 70 plus this x, that equates to 360 degrees. And again we are writing the reason, because quadrilateral internal angle sum equals to 360 degrees. Now we are going to add it. Get 1 from this 7. It will become 100 and it will become 60 in our mind. 6 is 12 and 10 plus 12 equals to 22, and fix 0 as it is. So 220 plus x as it is equal to 360. Now comes the time of transposing. X as it is on left hand side equal to as it is, 360 degrees as it is. We transposed positive 220 towards right hand side. So it became minus 220 and the value of x equals to 36 minus 22 is 14, plugging 0 as it is. Or in other words, 6 minus 2 is 4, 3 minus 2 is 1 and 0 as it is. Therefore we wrote measure of angle x equals to 140 degrees. It will be good idea if you write small letter m before this angle. So it would be like measure of angle x equals to 140 degrees. That is, this angle equals to 140 degrees. And you can cross check your answer as well. Add 140 plus 90 plus 60 plus 70, that will give you as 360. This proves that your answer that you have found is correct. With this, our B part is completed. Moving on to C part. Step number 1, we'll visualize the figure. By visualizing we mean we'll count the number of sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This time we are dealing with a pentagon. We need to find its sum measure of all internal angles, and we know very well in order to find so for any given polygon we need to subtract 2 from its sides, and we have told you the reason why in previous questions. So it is a better practice to watch out those concepts first. So just ponder in our mind, it would be we have 5 sides, we'll subtract 2 from it, we'll get eventually 3, multiply it with 180. So 18 3s are 54. So it would be 540 degrees, which we shall do mathematically as well. With this idea in our mind, let's try to move to step number 2. Now we will see what else information we are given in this figure. We have one angle given and we do not have any direct angles given. The only information is that the value of this angle and this angle is equal to each other. That is, both angles are equal to each other. This is represented by these 2 curves that are drawn here. So indirectly we are given 2 angles, that is this angle and this angle, and again when we observe it, it is angle on a straight line. That is, this angle and this angle can be found when we will subtract both these angles from 180 degrees, which are represented in this curve. So let's first of all try to find these unknown angles. Then only we will be able to equate and hence form our equation. So this arrow denotes we are operating on this angle. So angle on a straight line is 180, so we need to subtract from 180. So we wrote 180 minus 60 degrees will give us this angle, that is equal to 120 degree. So we wrote 120 and we have found this angle. Similarly, we'll have to find this angle. So this time 180 again we subtract 70 from it in order to find this angle, and again we are writing reason because angle on a straight line equals to 180 degrees. That is, sum of both these angles, both angles will be equal to 180 degrees, and 180 minus 70 is simple 110. So with this we are in a position to form an equation. We will add all these angles and equate it to the sum of measures of all the angles of a pentagon. Remember, not the quadrilateral this time that we have deduced in step number 1. We are dealing with pentagon this time, that is a polygon having 5 sides. And again, it is not a regular polygon because we do not have equal angles measure and sides are different, whereas it doesn't happen in regular polygon, that you know very well from your previous questions. So why we wrote 2x? Because x plus x will give us 2x, so we wrote straight away 2x plus 30 this angle, plus we have found these 2 angles, that is equal to 120 degrees and 110. Over here we found it. That equals to how many sides we have? We have 5. We are applying the polygon formula that finds sum of all internal angles of any polygon. So sides minus 2, that is we are dealing with pentagon, so 5 minus 2, this gets multiplied with 180 degrees. When we will solve it, it will give addition of all the internal angles of this pentagon. And why we are doing it, we need to write reason. Because polygon internal angle sum equals to number of sides minus 2 into 180 degrees. Nothing written over here, it simply means we are multiplying whatever we have in this bracket with 180 degrees. Again, we will not write units, that is degrees in this case, while we are solving. We will straight away write in the answer part. So let's solve it. 2x as it is, let's add it up. Give it 1. From this side, it will become 12. So 12 plus 12 is 24. It remains 2, so 26. And fix 0 to it. So 260 we get. this equal to as it is 5 minus 2 is 3 and nothing means multiplication with 180 degrees. So try to solve easier calculations in your mind only. We are here right now. Now next step, 2x as it is plus 260, simply multiply it. 18 3s are 54, fix 0 to it. Again, if you forget tables, 8 3s are 24, 2 carry, 3 1s are 3 plus 2 is 5, so 540. Now 2x as it is, let's transpose this positive 260 towards right hand side, it will become minus, so 540 minus 260. 2x as it is equal to as it is, let's subtract it. 6 minus 14 is 8, it became 4 because we took 1 from this, so 4 minus 2 is 2 and 0 as it is. Again, simple calculations here itself in the step. Now transposing 2 towards right hand side, it will get divided up, or we can straight away cancel it. So x as it is, 2 1s are 2, so 1 came, 2 4s are 8, so 4 came, 0 as it is. Now what is this? We need to write the units in our final part. So we wrote therefore measure of this angle x equals to 140 degrees, and this simply means that this angle is 140 degrees, also this angle equal to 140 degrees, because these are both denoted as same by these two curves. With this we have solved our C part. D part. Step number first, we will visualize the figure. Let's count the number of sides, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We are sure it is a pentagon. What else information we can get from this figure? These two parallel signs denote that all the sides are equal. So a thought strikes in our mind, whenever we have all sides equal, it is a regular polygon. And this time it is a regular pentagon. That means all the angles will also be equal to each other. And now we will frame our steps. If we will add all these angles in our mind and equate it to the sum of angles of a pentagon, that will give us our required equation. So with this concept in our mind, we will try to solve our question. So we wrote, since it is a regular pentagon, therefore all internal angles must be equal. That is the property that we have learned from our previous questions, which you should first watch in order to get better understanding. This is the sign of implies in mathematics. That is, if we are writing this statement, that is, this step holds true when we wrote this statement. Why 5 times x? Because each angle is equal to each other. So x plus x plus x plus x plus x simply means 5 times x equals to the total internal sum of a pentagon. And we know very well how to find that of any polygon. We count the number of sides, we subtract 2 from it, and we multiplied the result with 180. And we need to write the reason, because polygon internal angle sum equals to number of sides minus 2 and multiplied with 180 degrees. That's why we studied this general formula in our previous question, because it is easy to visualize in simple figures like square, rectangles, pentagon or quadrilateral. But suppose if you are given with a polygon having 1000 sides, then this small idea will not help. Only this general formula will help. That's why this is the only reason why we studied this general formula. Now we are having our equation, we will solve it simply. 5x as it is equal to as it is, 5 minus 2 is 3, nothing means multiplication with 180 degrees. 5x as it is, we rewrote this equation because we are cancelling, so we will not multiply it. We have told you several times in our previous interactions that it is best to simplify your equation in initial steps only. Do not go for multiplication. First, always try to reduce if possible. So here is a possibility. How? This 5 can be cancelled with this 180 because units place has 0 and it is a divisibility rule with 5. So we cancelled 1 5s are 5, 5 3s are 15, 3 is remainder, it becomes 30. So 5 6 are 30. We are left with x as it is equal to, let's multiply it. 6 3s are 18, 1 is carried, 3 3s are 9 plus 1 is 10, so 108. If you would have chosen multiplication first, then your number would be bigger and your calculations become cumbersome. That's why it is a best practice to first simplify the equation with cancelling opportunity if possible. Now what is this 108? We need to write units. We are dealing with angles, therefore we wrote measure of angle x. It would be better practice if you write m before this angle, that is small letter m, because that's how you denote measure of angle. So measure of angle x equals to 108 degrees. and it will be each angle whose value will be equal to 108 degrees. With this, how easily we solved our D part. Likewise, we solved every question. First, we visualize, that is, we count the number of sides, and then we try to find unknown angles, and finally we form an equation using the angle sum property of that particular polygon by subtracting 2 from the sides and then multiplying that with 180 degrees. That is using our general formula. So with this, our question number 6 is completed.